Welcome to Immigrate. Welcome to a space where you can be vulnerable, a space where you're not going to be judged, a space where you can be authentic. And my hope and desire is to inspire and motivate everyone that click onto this podcast. So, welcome to another episode of Immigrate. So, welcome to another episode, great episode with Immigrate, and I have my lovely guest, Elizabeth. Right? That's Elizabeth. She said, "Co Elizabeth." I can't wait to talk to her. Um, when I saw her, she's just smiling. Her presence is so welcoming, and welcome, Elizabeth.
Thank you very much, Tasha. Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. So, Elizabeth, tell me about yourself.
Okay. I am, well, hi everyone. My name is Elizabeth Owode, married with two kids. I'm a marriage coach, a chartered accountant, an author of Together for Better, a Christian Christian marriage book, and it's on Amazon. And I live in the UK, and yeah, I think that is
Lovely.
a little overview about
So,
myself.
where did you move from to the UK?
I moved from
And
Nigeria.
do
From
you mind sharing why you think you moved from Nigeria to the UK?
Oh yes, oh certainly. I don't think I had a choice.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's a different one.
I I didn't have a choice. Really. Well, I didn't think I had a choice. So years before I came, my father already moved, relocated because he was a priest and they transferred him from Nigeria to the UK. So one holiday, I think it was Easter holiday, came back. Daddy came back and was like, "Yes, you're going to be living with daddy now, and daddy's taking you." Like literally, that was that. So that's what I'm saying. I didn't think I had a choice.
Wow.
I don't think I had a choice, so it's saying the matter. But yeah. But well, maybe I did because obviously my mom was still in Nigeria, so I could have stayed with my mom and because I was also in boarding school, so it wasn't like I was going from home to school. I was in boarding school. I only come on holiday time, but my dad was my bestie, so going to live with daddy, yes, why not? So there was definitely no objection. So yeah,
Oh, so you moved to you said you were 15, right? I think we did that in a
yes, I was
Oh,
15. Yeah, I just turned
I see.
15.
Yeah. I could understand when you said you didn't have a choice. Yeah, like that was yeah. So
Um,
do you remember any experience you want to share while living in UK as a 15-year-old or and transitioning to becoming an adult? How was it?
Oh, so what I think one of the biggest thing for me when I first came to the UK was the fact that obviously I was in secondary school, and a lot of the time I did not understand a single thing that my teacher was saying. I didn't understand the accent. Absolutely not. I didn't understand them. They didn't understand what I was saying. So I think that was the initial thing. Like if they say 10 things, I'll probably hear or pick maybe four or five, maybe half of what they've said is what I was actually able to pick out of that. And at 15, I need to now prepare for GCSE. So that had a lot of impact on that, which I then have to like take extra lessons and all of that because I need to read, I need to study, I need to understand, and I need to pass. So yeah.
So
So that was one of the biggest
so
things,
what
yeah.
else do you think was the most okay, so language was one of, it's a barrier, but what else do you think was the most complex?
Um I'll probably say I think it's the language because when it comes to culture, my my parents were quite rooted and grounded, and also the church that we were going was almost like a Nigerian church, even though they've got like different branches all over the world in different countries. It's so the culture wasn't very different because apart from school, when I get home or I go to church, that's the culture is still as if I was in Nigeria. That didn't change. But in school, you will have um, a student will reply back to a teacher and all of that. That was something very different and just they would this teacher like mimic teachers and think now you would not have that in Nigeria that wouldn't happen so it just but I think but for me the biggest thing was definitely just the language just understanding because communication is key as a marriage coach I focus on communication so you need to be able to understand each other otherwise it almost turns to a monologue rather than a dialogue if the other person that you're talking to doesn't actually understand what you're trying to say so
So,
yeah
what language? Well, there's lots of languages in Nigeria, so I couldn't understand because, funny you said that because I moved from Jamaica to Canada, and I think language too was something. Certain words, like for example, and this is I'm gonna throw this out there. Fact. In Jamaica, we use that word very loosely. Okay, and it's not a derogatory word. It's a word of, oh, you're cherishing, you're doing well. So I remember one day giving someone compliment, and I was so naive of saying, "Oh my God, you're so fat and beautiful," and oh my God, I almost lost that friendship. And me being a naive, not knowing that, okay, coming from Jamaica, sharing that, I was so naive, and I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." Like when I realized that person was hurt, I was like, it wasn't my intention. That wasn't the intention. I was
so,
really trying to
mm,
compliment that person. And I'm like, and I learned from them that never, ever, ever, ever use that word. Even to now, it does affect me when someone uses that word. I'm like, no, 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 no. I tend to train people and be like, that word, just get it out of your vocabulary. Just get it out of your head. That word
yeah
is not so
mm,
I can see where sometimes, and even though we speak language English in Jamaica and come in here English and French, but it was something that I had to readapt and relearn and communicate in the in the way that they communicate here. So if you
yeah
should turn back into your 15-year-old self and you're looking back and you were 15, what would you tell your 15-year-old self right now?
I think I'll probably just tell my 15-year-old just take your time don't stress about it it will happen as in you'll get used to things but in everything be teachable
Right.
in everything be teachable no and don't take offense to things everywhere is different and the way that everyone understand things is different and I also say this to my clients as well like even when there isn't a cultural or background different, everyone sees things differently and understands things differently. So don't take offense to things. So, I'll give you an example. I think I was at work, older now, I was at work, and one of the staff was going to, I think, Tesco. So I said to him, oh, could you get me a cucumber? And he was like, sorry? I went like literally, I had to Google it to show him what I wanted. And he said, oh no, it's called cucumber. I went, sorry? With a Q? Wait, no, I said, no, CUM, like I spelled it. I said, yes, that's the spelling because we pronounce every single letter and syllable in a word, whereas English word
Right.
doesn't.
Right.
So for me, I want to call it is like cucumber. That's the way it's
Mhm.
spelled. Cumber. And it's like, no, it's cucumber. It's cucumber. Oh, okay. Right. I didn't take any offense to it. I was just like, oh, okay, that's interesting. So just things like that, be teachable and don't take offense to things. And if for any reason you feel that that person might even be taking the mic, learn from it.
That's
So yeah,
profound because sometimes, just simple things like that, you could have been offended and be like, don't tell me how to speak. You could have gone into a whole, but yeah, I love how you're teachable. That's what I'm getting from you. You're the teachable spirit. I like that. And we have to be like that in term to survive in a foreign country. So what
yeah.
encouragement would you leave with an immigrant who is listening to my podcast right now?
I think it will be again be teachable, be open to things, and don't come out of your comfort zone in everything. Come out, don't that this is where things have always been, this is how it should be, and all of that. That mindset shift. You need to have a view of being open, be open-minded, know that this is a different environment and I need to understand things. Be open. You might have known something because obviously everyone migrates different stage in life, whether you've spent 40 or 50 years of your life before relocating. Be open, not this is the way it's always been, this is where it is now, and this is where it will always be now. And I also say this to couples as well, because everyone come with their
Mm-hmm.
background, and whether we like it or not, consciously or unconsciously as well, we actually take our background, and some things sometimes we're not even aware of what we've picked up and we're carrying
Mm-hmm.
along and we're doing it. Sometimes we're conscious of this is what we're doing. Sometimes we're not conscious of it and it just happens. We're doing that and we don't even know why we're doing it. So it's just take back and just study your environment and have almost like a self reflection every now and then of where you are, where you're going, what you want to do. I had a friend when I was much younger, he relocated as well from Nigeria. And I remember him saying to me that um he really wanted the British accent so much that every single day, he gave himself a task 2 hours in front of TV, and he would just listen, would say it again, listen, say, repeat, play, repeat, just to try and get himself that British accent. Now I still don't have a British accent. I think my accent is, is a combination of the strong Nigerian accent as well as I'm not even sure, but it's definitely neither is it, because sometimes when I say some English word and I'm talking to like families back home, they find it difficult to hear me. I'm like, wait, but I'm saying some like I don't think however, so just having it will come, it will happen. Be open minded, and but don't focus so much on the negative aspect of your life, whether you're migrating, because now a lot of people are migrating maybe to study or with their spouse, and you need to realize that in this environment that you are, things will happen that you're probably not expecting and you're not looking forward to it. Don't focus on the negative aspect of your life or of your spouse, because it's really important. What you focus on will grow. The more you focus on something, that's what you will see every single time. If you think your spouse isn't doing something the way they should be doing it, and that's what you focus on, not focus on like, okay, he's washed the plate or he's taken out the bin, and you focused on the fact that he hasn't hoovered the floor, or you've asked him to do something or her to for a particular kind of something and they haven't done it. If you focus on that, all you would see around you in that new environment is that negative. You will see A, B, C, every single person that you come across. You will find them doing exactly that same thing. And it's just because that is what you're focused on. Same thing with your spouse. You will find that everything that you find your spouse doing will now start annoying you because you've focused on the wrong thing that they're not doing. So have that mindset of focus on, okay, this is a new environment that I'm in. I'm happy with this environment. I've chosen to be in this environment, or maybe like me, you didn't quite choose it. But take out the good aspect of that environment. But in everything, remember to hold on to your core values.
He actually does have an accent, I'm telling you. I hear it. I You do have an accent.
Yes.
So yeah, it's so important. I cannot stress it enough about mind shift. Mind
Yeah.
shift is so important in growth. In order for you to grow, you can't be the same. You can't think the same. You can't do the
Um,
same. And I love how you emphasize that so much, because in order for us to be who we are, we gotta understand that it has to start from up here. It has to start from our mind and start working on that aspect. And it's hard in the beginning, but at the end of the day, we have to make it work. So finally,
yeah.
how have you seen your spiritual journey impact your journey living in the UK?
Oof. I won't say there's any impact per se, and that might just be on the basis that my father was a priest. He died 13 years ago now.
I'm
So
sorry.
he was a priest, a reverend. So yeah, there was a time that our sitting room was the church, like literally. But I think overall, when you look at the spiritual aspect of things, I think overall, if I'm to cast my mind back to how things might be in Nigeria, will be, that saying that says takes a village to raise a
Mhm.
child. That isn't really here in the Western world.
Right.
So in Nigeria, you can do something, and a random person that doesn't know you can say, "Shouldn't you be in church?" Or "Have you prayed about something?" They don't know you. Have you prayed about it? And so it's more open. Like you could be at the bus, or you could be in the bus, and someone is standing up and preaching. You could be, and it's very common that you would see that, whereas in the Western world it isn't like that, because trying the ability, I use the word ability, or the access that every to respect every religion, both for the people that are believers and people that are not believers. So I think in that aspect, it's probably different. But for me personally, I don't think it's had an impact on me. However, one thing that I've noticed that I see with some of the couple that I see as a marriage coach is moving from a country to a different country, especially if they migrated. It's almost like freedom. They feel like I'm free, kind of. It's almost like a sense of freedom. where they're not being judged. No one is constantly watching them or having a say at their life, because your neighbor could see you on a Sunday. Let me use Nigeria as an example. But, oh, you're not going to church today. Is everything okay? Here, your neighbor is not going to ask you why you're not in church, or on a Friday why you're not going to the mosque. No one is going to ask you that. So you need to have a personal relationship with God, a personal encounter with God. Have your own self rooted and grounded in God, that whether someone would say, oh, today's Sunday, you're not going to church, or today's Friday, you're not going to mosque, or have you prayed for Muslim people? Have you done your 5 times prayer today, or something like that? Where you don't have that, you need to know that in everything and anywhere you are, God is watching. So you need to have that within you. God is watching, God sees you. And in everything, the devil isn't playing, always looking for a loophole, always looking for the crick and the crack that you don't cover quickly with the blood of Jesus. And I say this to my clients a lot, like, things will happen in our life, things will happen with couples and in our marriages. But holding on to that grudge or that anger or that view, and not expressing or communicating with your spouse of how you're feeling or how you've been hurt, you're literally opening the door for the devil, for the enemy into your home and into your marriage, as well as everything is that you're doing as an individual. It will have an impact. So relocating and migrating to a different country, always remember that God that you serve is still the same anywhere in the world. God doesn't change. So just making sure that you don't lose that focus. Focus on God. Wherever you are, focus on God. And to also remember, however things are going, remember that you have a friend that you can always go back to call on. You have a friend that you can always contact, always. And our mind and prayer is not just when we actually open our mouth, because it says, to him who is able to do exceedingly above what we ask or think. God, our mind is praying. So also what you're thinking about in this environment that you now find yourself, that God brought you, because I'm a firm believer that once you're with Christ, with God, everything that happens to you, God is aware of it. So you're not in a new country and God is thinking, oh dear, how did he get there? How did she get there? That is not in the plan. No, it's in the plan. So know that with every challenges that you're facing in the new country, in your marriage, you have God always there to help.
So,
And also don't be, yeah,
you
sorry,
know what
go
I'm
on.
saying? That's so profound what you're saying. Continue. I was just like, yeah, you're dropping some gems, man.
Thank you. And just to also remember that in everything, you have the physical aspect of things, you have the spiritual aspect of things as well. Faith without work is dead. And I met some Christian couple where they will have, we've been praying about it, okay? And when you pray about it, what have you done? And this one example I always give to couples and in my client, which is one day. Now, my husband likes to go to bed early, wakes up early. I'm the opposite of that. So one day I finished, he's gone to bed, the children have gone to bed. I was busy doing different things all around the house, and then I finished, and then I picked my Bible. thought, okay, let me read my Bible. I didn't have a particular place. It wasn't like I had a plan of where I was reading. So I opened my Bible. It went to Solomon. Solomon is about love stories. So I closed it. I opened it again. Same place, Solomon. I think it was chapter 2 or chapter 3. And it opened again. I was like, okay. So I was just like, okay, then there's something that I need. So I read the chapter, didn't get anything. I closed it, I opened it again. Third time, I was just like, okay, Holy Spirit, I need your help. Absolutely, I am not getting anything from this chapter that I keep opening. And I read it after my little prayer of moaning, like, okay, maybe change it. And I now read it again, and it was talking about the bride was looking for Solomon, was looking for the groom, and he was looking for her and everything. And I finished reading, I was just like, okay, I still don't get it. And it was literally talking to me that, okay, I'm here, I'm doing something spiritual, that's fine. However, my husband is in bed. And it's almost like a pattern of him going to bed by himself. And I thought, oh, dear, dear. I closed the Bible and I went to bed. And I remember telling my husband the following day, I said, oh, this happened. They were, so I'm now going to be coming to bed same time as you because I can always come back out once he's asleep. And he said, oh, yeah, but yeah, you're always doing that. I just go to bed, I'm ready, I'm going to bed. And literally, the thing is, my husband, the moment he hits that pillow, give him a few minutes. If the conversation is too long in bed, it's how. Next minute, it's like, wait, how did you do that? But, and just that connection of just going to bed together. Now, I'm coaching people to go to bed together because there's a different connection with your husband going to bed together. So, again, when we're praying as Christians, are we actually listening to Holy Spirit? And as we're listening, are we putting it into practice? Or are we just saying, God, I want you to change my spouse. I want you to change my environment. I want you to do this in my life, in this new environment, this new country I am. Are we saying all of that without actually now applying anything, without actually now listening to Holy Spirit and applying those into our marriage, into the environment regarding our work, regarding our business, even parenting? So all of that have an impact. And I think your question about spiritual has brought about that. So I think I'll let you continue with your next question.
No, it is powerful how you put it, and going into the aspect of doing it together, and the impact on our spiritual life can come in. So, because for mine, it had become huge impact since I moved to Canada. My faith has grown immensely, like to the point where I'm like, oh my God, I've never seen God in eyes like this. And to the point where I'm now understanding and walking in the purpose of where God has called me because of all that impact and that transition into knowing, and you said it so nicely, a personal relationship with you. And it's the same thing in Jamaica. If you don't go to church, your neighbor is gonna know, and someone gonna come visit you, or someone is gonna, because I live like 2 minutes from my house, so there's no way I can miss church. And because of that,
Mm.
to living with my parents. But here, when I moved here, I didn't move with anyone, I moved by myself, so I didn't have a choice. I could do whatever I want, right? I was free, right? But I made it a really huge decision to be like, I want to serve God, and I want to have that personal relationship with you. Is it easy? Absolutely not. Is it going to be all good all the time? Absolutely not. But it's a daily, daily, daily. And as you said, faith without work is dead. We have to not just say it, we have to do it too. The action. This morning because I'm fasting and praying for the next couple of days. And I thought about, I said, faith is an action word. You can't just say it, you have to do it, and believing in that, and believing in his promises. But I just want to thank you for all that you sharing and being so vulnerable and open and honest. talking with me. And as we're finally wrapping up, and is there anything more you want to share? And let's just leave 3 words with my audience that you think, if they don't hear anything else, these 3 words may sink in their heart and soul.
I think in everything, hold on to your faith, which is your core values, and focus on the good aspect. And with the environment that you're in as well, whilst you go with the spiritual aspect, also seek help. If for any reason, seek yourself a coach. If it's therapy, seek that. Our mind needs to be healthy, because Bible says we will prosper as our soul prospers. So if one aspect, our mind, which is our power of our soul, if that is impacted, then that prosperity that we're seeking in every area of our life, whether it be your marriage, in your career, as a parent, or financial prosperity, will be impacted if our mind and our soul isn't healthy and prospering. So seek help, coach. However, seek a coach, talk to experts, and the internet as well is there, as well as your making sure that you have that personal relationship with God.
Thank you. Anything else you want to add?
No, I think that will be all. And for your married audience, I would leave you with, again, communicate with your spouse. Have an open, honest communication with your spouse with everything that is going on. Sometimes we want our spouse to read our mind. Just communicate, express yourself, and have a realistic expectation of your spouse. Sometimes our spouse will do something not because they even know why they're doing it themselves. They don't know why they're doing it, but they've done it for so many years, and it's just like they just continue. So, in everything, give grace, and remember that faith and work works together. Faith without work is dead. So whilst you're praying, also seek an expert. And if you want to get in touch with me, um, I think I'll leave you to do that.
Yeah, just tell them where they can find you. I know you have your website, which I'll be dropping it in my
Yeah.
description. I always do that. And I also follow her on Facebook, where she's doing wonderful tips every day. So yeah, just let people know where they can find you. What?
Okay, so if you would like to learn more regarding your marriage, you can visit my website, which is myoceancoaching.com, which is that's www.myoceancoaching.com. And also my book, that's on Amazon, Together for Better. If you Google my name, it will come up, which is Elizabeth Owode. So it's a Christian marriage book, practical daily things that you can do with your spouse. It's on there
Is it
as
on
well.
Audible too?
No, it's not
Oh,
on
okay.
Audible.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's
but it's
on
on
Amazon.
Amazon. It's
Okay.
on Apple.
All right.
Yeah, but also in on ebook as well.
Oh, okay. On ebook. Okay.
Yeah, you can get the ebook or the hard
Oh,
copy.
okay. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Thank
Yeah.
you so, so much to
Um,
just sharing a word of knowledge and advice with us today about what you do. And I love how incorporated you with what you're doing, how you're answering the questions. And people need to understand that these 3 important things, mind shift, communication, and faith, is so important for us for growth. Because if we can change our mindset, then we'll communicate better, and we will align, everything will
yeah.
align. And it's something I'm learning too in terms of in a marriage, because yeah, we can't read our husband's mind all the time. We can't even read our wife's mind
Yeah.
all the time. But as we're learning and growing together, I pray that someone that listening may be inspired and have hope and know that everything is possible. Regardless if you had gone to a
Yes.
country when you were 15, or whatever. See, you have, and this is why I say my program is Immigrate. You have immigrated, you have gone to
Mm.
a country, and now you're doing great things. You're a coach, you're doing so well. I follow you on Facebook and I listen to your talks that you do sometimes. And yeah, you're doing pretty good. And I just want to thank you for coming on again, and just thank you for just being with my myself and my listeners today. And yeah, thank you so much, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Tasha. Thank you, and thank you for having me. Keep having a sweetly loving marriage and keep working on your marriage. And in every area that you are, know that anything is possible, just like Tasha said.
That's right.
As this episode ending, and I did this wonderful interview with Elizabeth, she's such a graceful, her presence is so graceful. And she talks about so much of how she has immigrated into England, and how she, what things that she has learned, and all the things that makes her migrated or immigrated into the country that she is. And I just want to leave like a Bible verse here, and it says John 13 verse 34. A new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another as I have loved you, that ye also love one another. And God is asking us to love one another. He wants to give us that peace and that love. And as she emphasizes so much of how we should love our partners and we should love our spouse, we should love everybody around us. And as we immigrate, let us love one another. And I am so happy I had that interview with her. And I, again, thank you, subscribers. Thank you to my immediate family. And thank you for believing this dream. And on to another great episode of Immigrate.